not the little piece of intestine. Bonus. So I'm back in Putown to try out more Yangrou Paomo. But this morning, instead of going left at the intersection, I'm gonna go right and check out 苏老大 Yangrou Paomo, just for the sake of comparison. 来一碗单肥八瘦的。好啊，谢谢啊。With a choice in meat, you could go fatter or leaner, or even add offals. You'll see in a moment. At some restaurants, there are also other decisions to make, such as the amount of mutton soup you want. Look at that bubbling cauldron of awesomeness. If your taste buds want to take a dive in that pot, hit that like. Soup is critical to Yangrou Paomo, but more is not always better. One option is called kao tang, literally one gulp of soup, referring to a small pool of broth enough for one gulp remaining at the bottom of the bowl after everything else has been finished. You could also go for gan pao, literally dry soak, meaning that the bowl should be dry at the end with all the broth soaked dry by the more flatbread. I read that this is the official standard stipulated by some industry association or what have you. This next one is fun, 水围城, literally city surrounded by water. It is the opposite of gan pao and comes with more soup. To some degree, this broth to more ratio affects mouthfeel. Another influential factor in this regard is the size of the crumbled bits of more flatbread. So after trying the plain soup, now I'm going to add some salt. And after trying a couple more bites, I'm going to add some Sichuan pepper. That's local Hanzhong style. I already dove into my bowl a few minutes after sitting down. However, that is often not the case in other restaurants, where patrons have to break up their own mo. People joke that it takes half an hour to crumble the mo, but only half that time to finish a bowl of pao mo. Here at Su Lao Da and at yesterday's Lao Su Jia, the mo have already been torn apart. By hand, of course, not by machine. You could tell by the irregular shape of the torn morsels. Some diners relish the process of crumbling the mo, some find it a test of patience. Two sides of the same coin. You either get more control over texture, or you get to eat with a shorter wait time. When it comes to DIY mo crumbling, the general advice is smaller the better. Sparrow tongue or mosquito head in pao mo parlance, as in little beads the size of soybean according to the aforementioned standard. But if you want more soup than the standard, break up your mo into bigger pieces, like peanut size. Some experienced chefs can guess how much soup you want based on how big or small you pour the mo. Since the mo is usually made from 90% unleavened dough, meaning that it is dense and quite impervious to soaking, breaking up the mo smaller helps with thorough cooking. However, the mo at both eateries here in Putown seem to consist of higher proportion of risen dough. That's why they come in bigger chunks, not mosquito head size. Mosquitoes with heads that big belong in Jumanji. This clip shows more from the other eatery Lao Su Jia. I'll write about some such differences in the description section. They don't add the huajiao Sichuan pepper in Xi'an, but I like it. It spices things up, adds another dimension to the soup. Sichuan pepper is often included in the bags of herbs boiled with mutton bones to produce the broth. What I meant to say was that Xi'an diners might not be as inclined to dust the bowls with Sichuan pepper powder, also I've been told by Hanzhong folks. As I explained in the previous video, although Hanzhong is a part of Shaanxi province, it is more closely related to Sichuan province, including taste preference of locals. Condiments and supplements are yet another aspect where Yangrou Paomo varies from place to place. Most people consider this dish an emblem of Xi'an, the capital of Shaanxi province, but it is widely eaten across northwestern China. More intestines. You could also order lamb soup with offals, so like half-half, Yangrou Paomo. That's another way to enjoy. When it gets a bit too heavy, try this, Tang chu suan, or sweet pickled garlic cured with materials like sugar and vinegar, can help cut down greasiness and is often paired with mutton foods like paomo and instant boiled mutton hot pot. The soup here at Su Lao Da is marginally lighter than the bowl I had a day ago at Lao Shu Jia, and I didn't add extra meat here, so naturally I ate fewer tang suan than yesterday. Not that this is a yardstick for measuring tastiness, but personally I do prefer the richer paomo from before.
Yeah, that was pretty good too. And that gives me another reason to head to Xia next time. Another city that I haven't been to in years. I think almost 2 decades. Well, next time. 再见.